Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to the live stream. So, just getting things set up for this afternoon's live stream. It's going to be roughly two to 2.5 hours long. I am on the ground here at London Northolt, as you see, and this evening we are going to be flying up to Edinburgh, and then I will stop and have dinner, and then there'll be something happening later this evening as well. So just getting set up here, got track hour on, got a nice sunset happening overhead North London. So it's been a little bit of a time since I've flown the DC-3, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it, particularly on VATSIM. So here we are in the cockpit. Let's get the yokes. There we go. Oh, I do like the DC-3. It is a lovely one. So, for those of you who are watching afterwards as a YouTube video, feel free to leave messages in the chat. We'll start the video off by doing a little bit of flight planning, just so we can see what's going on. So I'm flying a vintage route today from London Northolt up to Edinburgh. It's going to be at 8,000 feet. Now, back in the old days, it would have been 8,500, but due to modern IFR rules, rather than go off 500 feet, I'm going to go off thousands. So I'm going to go with 8,000 feet, or flight level 80. So it's going to be a takeoff from runway 25 with a right-hand turnout direct to the NDB Sierra Hotel Charlie, and then from there directly into Brecon Beacon? No, Bovingdon. Bravo November. It's going to be Bovingdon, and then it's going to be Daventry, DTY, and then it's going to be Trent, which is TNT, and then Pole Hill, and then TLA, which is Tala, and then inbound to Edinburgh from there, based on the vectoring that the ATC gives us. We do apparently have ATC online for both London Heathrow and Edinburgh. Whether or not they're actually going to be online at the right time is another question entirely. I did a video yesterday out of Stansted to Zurich, and Zurich was fully staffed. By the time I got to Zurich, no one was there. Very annoying. Anyway, so this is where we are right here in London Northolt, and we're going to be talking briefly to Heathrow director to see if he wants to give us any coverage outbound, because we are so close to Heathrow. And then up north we've got Edinburgh, of course, so that's all well and dandy. Okay, let's just pop that back on my second screen. Winds today don't seem to be too crazy. Compared to yesterday, things have really quieted down quite a lot, so that's all good. For those of you who are jumping in to the live stream, please just message in chat to let me know if the audio volumes are correct. That would be good, just to get some sort of virtual nod from someone to quantify that. And then the SimBrief fuel is about 620. No, sorry, I was wrong there. The block fuel on SimBrief for this particular flight plan is 1,059 kilograms. So what we'll do is we'll start with not the camera. We'll start with the weights and balances first and get that out of the way, and then we will move on. So let's just let's take the center tanks out. No, those are the auxiliary tanks. Let's just whack the center tanks up to max, and that will give us fuel of 1,100. Now, actually, taking 50 kilos extra than what SimBrief asks for is fine by me. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So we're going to have full mains and 0 on the auxiliary tanks. Now, for our estimated takeoff weight, our total is going to be 11,500 roughly. So let's just switch this up to about 11,570-ish. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what our weights and balances should be. So with that now set in the aircraft, let's just get rid of that. And move on. So, like I said, 8,000 on the initial altitude. So let's go over to, not settings. Let's go over to my flight plan. Let's just file that. So it's EGWU. No, that's a G. EGWU, correct. EGPH. Estimated departure time, let's put it's 15:22 right now. Let's say we want to be in the air by 15:45. En route time is 2 hours and 5 minutes. And we've got about 2 hours and 55 minutes of fuel. And we're going to go 8,000 feet. Speed, I'm going to put in about 120. Route, Echo Golf Whiskey Uniform, CHT. Not Brecon Beacons, Bovingdon. I always make that mistake. Daventry, Trent, Pole Hill, TLA, and EGPH. Flying a non-GPS aircraft VOR to VOR navigation with radar vectors, please. And the equipment suffix is whiskey. Because I flew the F-28 yesterday or last night, and I know that it's basically the same sort of aircraft. Except maybe not whiskey, because whiskey suffix is for flight level 245 and above. But I'm going to leave it on whiskey for the moment. Oh, okay, not connected to the network. Yep, so we're beeline 033, which is the historical, and I'm just going to refile that because that's not changed. Yeah, beeline 033 was the original vintage call sign or flight number for this particular flight. So we're beeline 033. So with the flight plan set, let's just adjust our barometric pressure. Let's get the track IR on. So for outside air temperature, it's actually quite mild now in comparison with the previous few days. Let's go and have a look. Let me pull up the meta for actually. Oh no, they actually give Heathrow Direct has given London Northolt an ATIS. That's all lovely, isn't it? Right. So the first things first. Let's go pull the ATIS. Let us go to the battery. The battery's on the battery cart. So let's deploy the battery cart and have the avionics on. And the noises are quite quiet. So just there we go. Pull those up slightly. How is chat doing? No one in chat so far. That's fine. I'll just monitor that. Okay, so let's just zoom in on London Northolt. So it's a 16 knot wind from the west. QNH is 1026. Temperature is 12. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so let's tune the ATIS, which is 125, 125. So 125 and
Signal 730. Acknowledge receipt of information Lima.
okay. Information Lima.
Northolt information Lima at time 1450 Zulu. Runway 25 in use. Transition level. Flight level 70. Surface wind 260 degrees 16 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Clouds few at 3,300 feet. Clouds broken at 15,000 feet. Temperature +12. Dew point +4. QNH 1026 hectopascals. No tower services available. Approach services from Heathrow Director 119.730.
Yeah.
All departures require clearance and release before departure from Heathrow Director 119.730. Acknowledge receipt of information, Lima.
Okay. Good stuff. So we've got the ATIS. We've filed our flight plan. Let us now just go through a few checklist items. So aviation documents, I've definitely got it here somewhere. Let's just go to DC-3, airplane heaven. Nope. Excuse me, let's move that over there. Alright, where is my PDF with the checklists? Actually, I might have some checklists for the DC-3 in my downloads folder. Here we go, in fact. Ah! Excellent, right. So I will be referencing these. Okay. So we've got start, see page 2. This is not the most cruise. It's not the... Oh, takeoff taxi clearance? This is not the most well formatted checklist, I must admit, so I'm not going to use that. Yeah, let's just go grab me, let's go grab a proper checklist here. So it's going to be in the airplane heaven DC-3. DC-3. Here we go. Okay, this might be a bit of a goose chase here. I thought I would have had this. I thought I would have had this on hand, but apparently I don't. Here we go. Okay, really? Here we go. Okay, download. Just download me a checklist of flightsim.to. I am not a robot, and apparently robots aren't able to press buttons. Yeah, Heathrow is busy. That looks busy. Okay, once that's downloaded, we will grab that. Okay, that looks like that's it. Extract. Hey, look at that. So, pre-start checklist. Let's go through that pre-start checklist. Okay, Radio Master. Okay, well actually we have kind of started up, but basically the Radio Master, we've already got the radios on and the avionics. Battery Master, let's go, well, we have got that on. Cabin signs. We don't actually have cabin signs in the DC-3 as of yet. We've got cabin lights. We could give them some cabin lights, like so. I like my head a bit higher. Pitos off. Correct. Magnetos off. Correct. Emergency exit lights checked and armed. We don't have those. This is obviously slightly more modern checklist than this vintage one I'm flying. Fire warnings checked. Again, I don't think I have any fire warnings in this aircraft. Generators. Let's put those on. Flight instruments set and checked. Okay, so, and again, we've not really got anything to set and check as of yet, apart from let's head in and give ourselves the NDB, the chill turn NDB of 277. Set. And do we see? We might see. Yeah, there it is. DME1 and DME2. No, DME1 or DME2? I think it's either. It's one of those. And also, let's give ourselves. Let's give ourselves Bovingdon, which is 113.75. Set on nav1, which you can see is active now. Okay, so that is our flight. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Good to see you. Let me know, Joe, if my audio is tweaked sufficiently. Okay, back to my checklist. Gyros set and caged. So again, the gyros. You know what? The more I look at this checklist, the more it's actually not helping me. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna fly this without the checklist. I feel like I know this aircraft enough to not need the checklist. So the first thing we're gonna do it the way I usually do it. Let's put my fuel selectors on the left and right main tanks first. Obviously we've got no hydraulic power as of yet. We've got open cowl flaps. We do have 0 landing gear and hydraulic system pressures. So we come down and let's open up. Oh, there's a click spot. There it is. And over and down again. That is going to bring the hydraulic pressure up once the engine starts. See, our doors are still open, so we're going to assume that we have got our passengers inside first, and we are ready to rumble. Let's just adjust. Let's just adjust Volanta. Get rid of that. Okay. All is good. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get an engine start going and start engine number 2. Actually, before we do that, let's call and get our clearance, because we could be sat here on the ground for quite a while. Let's get position lights on, and let's get the pitot on. Get that warmed up. Okay, so let's go to London Control, or London Radar, which is the poor guy at 11973, Heathrow Director. 11973. Why is that not showing on my list of frequencies? I do not know why. Anyway, so 11973. Set. And he's gone offline. Of course, he's literally gone offline the second. In the space of however many minutes it was, he's gone offline. And by the time we get up to Edinburgh, all of them will have kicked off. Oh, it happens every single time. Anyway, screw it. Okay, we're going to go on Unicom then. We're out on Unicom, and we'll just see a colossal amount of traffic around us. So, let's just move over to Unicom then. One two two 122.8 set. And we should start to hear all of the calls of the Heathrow traffic coming in and out. So in that respect, I am essentially going to just call for a Northolt traffic push and engine startup. Actually, no, I'll do an engine start first. And then I will call my taxi instructions. Okay, let's just zoom in. I'm going to be taxiing to runway 25 via Bravo and Alpha. Delta, Bravo and Alpha. Okay, so for an engine start in the DC-3, what we're going to do is we're going to crack the right-hand throttle. We're going to be bringing the engine number 2 online first. So we've cracked the right-hand throttle. We've checked that the area is clear. We've checked that the cowl flaps are both set to open. Then we are going to engage the starter. We're going to energize the right starter first. Once that spools up to the right power setting or up to the right inertia, we then go to mesh, and we mesh the starter, the inertia from the starter, into the engine, and that's what kicks over and begins. Okay, so we can hear it's at its peak. What we want to do is we want to go fuel pump on, and then we want to go mesh. Nope, that didn't work. Sorry, something went wrong. Let's get the right, before I go any further, let's get the right mag on. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh. Why can't I hit the...
6429 landing off runway.
What on earth? Why was my... I missed the primer, of course. That was my fault. Let's put the prop pitch to course. Let's try that again. I messed that up completely. I should have put the prop pitch. Let's actually just put both prop pitches to full forward. I should mesh and hold boost 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and bring the mixture in and monitor the T's and P's. we want to idle around 1000 RPM. Both engine gauges, the oil pressure is slightly low, but of course it's a cold engine, so it's going to be viscous. So we've got to be aware of that, and that should come up into the green. At least it's not high pressure; it's slightly low pressure, which is more understandable than not. So the Gen 2 is on. I'd call that a good engine start. Let's go to engine number 1. So we're going to crack the throttle up. We are going to energize the left engine. Let's get the left boost pump on. Oh, you can hear the tone of that changing as it warms up. You see it's now warmed up slightly more. It's more viscous and the RPM is slowly crept up. I heard that engine tone change. Okay, ready for the left engine. Mesh and prime. I need to click and hold the prime. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the mixture up. Why has that not started? Oh, of course, you idiot. You should have put the mag on. You see, there's always something I forget. But okay, monitor engine temps. Let's just idle. You see how both needles are exactly the same, but yet throttle 1 is slightly higher than throttle 2, so I'm having to put more power in to maintain the same as the right engine, and that's because engine 1 is colder than engine 2. So, right, now that we've got them both idling nicely, we can now take away the fire extinguishers and the brakes and not... Let's just make sure the parking brake is engaged.
Traffic ET160 Romeo taking off runway 25 Luton.
Let's drop the first stage of flaps. And let's get the landing lights on. And the beacon should have been on already. Now that we've got both engines on and both gens on, let's take the electricity to the ship and let's stow the battery car. And we should be ready to rumble. Okay, so let's make our call on Unicom. London Northolt traffic, Beeline 033 is taxiing from the stand via Delta Bravo Alpha to runway 25 for a northerly departure. Northolt traffic. Okay. So we've made the call. Let's take off the parking brake and away we go. Hey Aqua Vital, good to see you. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, doing well. Hello Peter, happy to be here watching you fly live. Good to see you, Biggs. Just double checking my my hydraulic pressures are just now coming up into the green. Booster pumps are on. Landing lights, etc. is good. So we've got some good. Okay, looking on the approach, I see nothing on the approach, and I don't see anything on the map either, so I'm going to cross the runway. Norfolk traffic beeline 033 crossing runway 25 at Alpha. Actually, that wasn't Alpha, was it? No, it was Bravo, not Alpha. Anyway, I'm crossing and no one's here, so that's my
Stansted traffic line 790 kilo, currently on the downwind 422. We're calling on the ILS, Stansted.
Oh, that's Stansted traffic, I can hear. Okay, so coming around, and we're going to stop at the hold at Alpha 1. Holding Alpha 1. Okay. And just double checking. Okay, so we have 277 set. We want to have the transponder on. Let's go squawk mode Charlie at this point. Oh, let's not starve the engines. Engine number 2 is strangely... No, I think that's still probably because it's gyro pilot position. Yeah, that's correct. I think that's engine number 2 is lower because it is warmer, I think, still. Okay, so the initial heading is going to be 25.
One four three four. Connection to 9er.
And let's just nose up slightly. Northolt traffic, beeline 033, taking off runway 22 at Northolt. This will be a northerly departure, up to 8,000 feet, London Northolt. Okay, let's move over, and let's go position, passing. Let's get the passing lights on. We don't really have strobes, as far as I'm aware. Landing gear warning horn is on. Just another last quick check at the approach end. Okay, let's go. About 44 inches manifold. Flaps up. Let's bring the manifold back to 35 inches, and let's bring the RPM back to 2500. And then let's put on the autopilot. Autopilot set. Let's take a right-hand turn. Nope, that's the wrong way. Sorry. Stupid me. Let's go heading due north, not due south. That was my stupid mistake. Let's go trail. Coming up through 1,000 feet. In the climb. Yeah, so that is our ADF bearing indicator. I thought that's what that was. So we want to have that. Actually, that's good about there, actually. About there. Okay, we want to have our ADF bearing due north. There's London Norfolk. And there's the lights from aircraft taking off from Heathrow. Hello Ian, goes well, thank you. Good morning Sir Peter Mods and chat. Where are you heading to today? Edinburgh. Edinburgh is fully staffed on VATSIM, and long may we pray it continue, because it's going to take me a couple hours to get up there. So I'm just going to keep an eye on. Yeah, it's still currently fully staffed, and we pray that it will continue. We now have a London Heathrow Tower controller. Oh, now of course Heathrow Director's come back online. That's 1973. Might as well go back to him. Let's just turn down slightly our. Okay, so at this point, let's go inbound Daventry, or Bovingdon, sorry, inbound Bovingdon. So let's go and select ourselves a radial. Okay, 343. So we'll go inbound Bovingdon on radial 343. London Control, good evening, Beeline 033.
Beeline 033, Heathrow Director, pass your message.
Beeline 033 is passing 4,000 feet inbound Bovingdon, exiting your airspace to the north.
Beeline 033, Squawk 0265.
0265, Beeline 033. 0265. (0265) set and Squawk Mode Charlie.
Beeline 033, thanks. Squawk Mode Charlie with ident, please. Beeline 033, thanks. Identified. Climb flight level 70.
Climb flight level 70, Beeline 033, thank you. Okay, he's given me a flight level now, which means I'm over to standard barometric pressure, which is 29905. Oh no, sorry, 29902.
Tractor, good afternoon, shuttle 5 X-ray.
Oh, it's the other way. Stupid me.
Logan 708, contact the tower 118.505. Cheerio.
118.505, many thanks, bye-bye. Shuttle 5 X-ray, Heathrow,
Down
direct
there.
to Holds information, Lima vectors for 27 right, descend flight level 80. Descend flight level 80, vectors for 27 right, Shuttle 5 X-ray.
So Ian, the PPL series, I would have been editing it right now, except that I thought it would be a nice chance just to jump online to do some IFR and VATSIM. It is coming along. The next PPL video, the production has restarted, so it's as and when I can, and I am making sure I am making progress on it regularly. So that will be coming. I can't give you a date exactly, but all I can say is that I'm in production, as well as the next airport video, which is Exeter. So those two productions are running along side by side at the moment. Let's just make sure that I keep my speed up. I can feel a stall coming on. Yeah, with that angle attack, I can feel a bit of a stall. Let's just nose down. I don't like that. Let's just nose down. We don't need to be...
Shuttle 5 X-ray, leave Bovingdon, heading 125, speed 220 knots. Leave Bovingdon 125,
4.5 nautical miles to Bovingdon. And then we go outbound from Bovingdon on 323. And he's given us a climb up to flight level 70. Let's just gain some speed here. And we want to turn further down, so let's do that. A left-hand turn. There we go. 6,000, so we've got 1,000 feet to go. Looking forward to them both. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about them. I'm giving them their due space in my weekly timetable to be done. So I'm enjoying them. I'm excited to get them out. At the same time as doing more VFR content on VATSIM. Okay, so what's our outside air temperature? Is close to 0, and we're probably going to be going through a fair amount of clouds here. So I'm going to put on the maybe not the wing de-icer. Actually, I'm going to wait until I see icing on the windows before I worry about de-icing. That's generally a fairly good rule, because if I'm not building ice on the windscreen, I know that I'm not gaining ice anywhere else. Okay, so we are 1.7 nautical miles from Bovingdon, so we're pretty much on top of Bovingdon now. Oh, there's 7,000. Let's level off, level off, level off. Don't go above, thank you. He might start shouting at me, because I know there is a shuttle. There is a speedbird who's going to come right across the top of my head at like 8,000 feet. And he's...
Shuttle 5 X-ray, traffic information, 12 o'clock, 2 miles of the DC-3, flight level 70, routing northbound. I've got the traffic, Shuttle 5 X-ray.
Okay. I don't have the traffic. Where are you? Oh, I actually heard that. Whoa! Wow. I actually heard the noise of that over the sound of my own engines.
Beeline 033, there's no further ATC, I'm afraid. Further climb at your discretion and continue with Unicom. Bye-bye.
Over to Unicom, and we definitely heard the sound of that A320 over the sound of our own engine, so we enjoyed that. Thank you. Have a good evening, Beeline 033. Okay, over to Unicom. Okay, let's just... Right, so it's 323 on the radial. 323 set. You can see that the radial is still jumping around a bit from being so close. Let's bring the RPM down to maybe 2300. RPM is probably good for a short cruise. I say short cruise because I've been used to using the DC-3 upwards of, you know, a 7-8 hour cruise with full tanks. So we are cruising at a pretty fast speed. It's not the most efficient cruise speed for the DC-3, but you know, cruising at 30, 32, 33 inches of manifold. But we're enjoying it. So, okay, now we're in cruise. Let's get the landing lights off. Let's get the boost pumps off. Lights can stay as they are. Pitot is on. Windshield de-icer will leave off because that's a good visual sign of the beginning of ice buildup. Beacons on, passing's on, avionics on, batteries on ship, position lights are on, and the lights for the tail lights can be on bright. And there we go, ladies and gents. We have settle down the DC-3 into a cruise, and let's just edge up to 7,000. He left us to resume our navigation, so we're now going to climb 8,000, which is our... Okay, let's actually edge the manifolds back up again to help with that climb up to 8,000, and all is good with the world. We will go to auto lean mixture once we reach 8,000. Ian says buys to pop out just now, back with you in about 30 minutes. Okay. Ooh, look at that, break through the clouds, beautiful sunset. Oh, lovely. Too bad it'll probably be dark by the time we land in Edinburgh, but that'll be good practice. But look at that now, look at the beauty of that there. Oh, I do love flying. Oh, I just love flying on VATSIM in Microsoft Flight Simulator in a vintage aircraft. There's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. Look at that. Look at that piece of art right there. That's a screenshot. That is a piece of art. Coming up to 8,000 now. And in fact, yep, there's 8,000 there, and let's just throttle back to, again, 31, 32. Set. And let's get our engines on auto lean. And yeah, just let things stabilize. What we will do now is we will tune Daventry at 16.4 on nav 2. Oh no, that's com 2, sorry. 16.4 set, and we should, yep, we should see that in there now. So now that we have Daventry, let's go over to a radial for okay. Oh, I think this only works on nav 1, so that's only a nav 1 needle. It doesn't swap when you swap. So I'm just gonna go 16.4 nav 1. Yeah, there we go. So now we are set. Radial. Let's keep the radial of 232. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna bother with. Not gonna bother with that. We are slightly high, so let's just pitch down ever so slightly. So Yeah, we're bang on the radial for inbound to Daventry. Yeah, there you go. So we're tracking inbound with nav1. Actually, yeah. Let's use nav2. I want to experiment with nav2. So that's 113. That's 1375. Set. Okay. Yep. So we've got DME2 is 14 nautical miles. DME1 is 20 nautical miles. So we can see both DMEs of both at the same time. It's just that our radial or our localizer gauge will only work for nav1. We don't have a nav2 localizer gauge, which is technically fine. It's just it's going to make flying to and from a fix a little bit more technically challenging, but that's fine. One really good tell for if you're on a radial or not is if you dial the two nav beacons for nav1 and nav2. When the nav2 needle swings round, the back side of the needle, if it matches and lines up perfectly with the front end of nav1, if the nose to tail of the needles line up, you know that you're on the direct line between those two nav beacons without actually needing any radial information. That's just a visual confirmation based on the location of those two nav beacons. And you can do that with ADFs, obviously, in the same reason, because or NDBs, sorry, non-directional beacons. If you have got two non-directional beacons, you have them both tuned at the same time. If the two needles are perfectly aligned with one another but pointing in opposite directions, you know you are completely perfectly in between the two, which is not a radial, obviously, because you can't. The autopilot won't hold the radial, but you are technically on a radial of between the two, which is kind of fun. So, yep, all is going well. Let's just double check our fuel flow on the left main and the right main is both pretty much identical, so we're good there. Hydraulic pressure is good. De-icing, of course, we're not using. It's still literally about 0 Celsius. The carbs are a little bit on the cool side, actually. So if we put the carb heats on, oh, that's the carb heat lock. If we put the two carb heats on, you see our carbs will warm up into the green band. I've never really seen that create any actual change. I've never actually seen the carb heat make anything look or feel different, so that's a bit weird. Anyway, let's go to DME1 is 13.9 nautical miles outbound of Daventry, so let's just monitor, let's turn off track IR and monitor our flight. Oh yes, look at that. Absolutely cracking. Absolutely cracking. Okay, so we are now coming outbound of the London airspace. Oh yeah, we're totally outside the London airspace now. On into the wild blue yonder, and hopefully by the time we get up to Edinburgh, we'll still have ATC. So there's that. It says we've got a 1 hour and 57 minutes. Volanta's giving us a 1 hour and 57 minute arrival time in Edinburgh. So what an absolutely beautiful scene. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so how are people in the chat these days? Alyssa Nora's here. Ian is popped off for 30 minutes. Aviator Biggs is here. Aqua Vital is here. Joe, I think, might still be here. He's gone. There we go. I can see that my FlyLive Studio isn't giving it a correct ETA, which is a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know why it's not giving an ETA, because it's a Sim Connect, Microsoft Flight Simulator. It shouldn't have an issue. It's showing, FlyLive Studio is showing, no, it's flight status. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It's not actually giving me an ETA, but the ETA should be just under 2 hours, for those of you who are asking. Let me just double check someone. Okay. Oh, we have dropped ever so slightly. Let's just pitch up. Okay, so how far are we away from Daventry? 7.7 nautical miles. We're doing 160 miles an hour. And our ground speed, I can see in little nav map, is about 125 knot ground speed. These are more the speeds that I'm used to, I have to be honest. I was flying the Fokker F-28 yesterday, and I had, I don't know, it was like a 60 or 70 knot tailwind down to Zurich. Like crazy, something crazy, and I was going at like 500 knots ground speed, and it was just, even for an F-28, it was happening. For my brain was just functioning a bit too slowly for that. I did film the whole thing, but it didn't really turn out well, so I don't think I'll post it. But this looks beautiful. Look at these big forests down here. Oh, look at that massive racetrack built on an old disused World War II aerodrome. It's just so beautiful. So little nav map is giving us 48 knot crosswind at the moment, coming from the west to our left. So the wind is coming out of the sun basically at the moment. What an absolutely beautiful situation. Good time to go flying. Kind of weird that the sun is setting at 4 in the afternoon, but this is just the way things are in the winter. Listener, I'm doing well, hoping to do a flight from Rome to Beirut this week in the Cal Classics DC-7C. Yo, where dost thou get the DC-7C, my good friend? What simulator are you flying to be able to fly the DC-7, pray tell? Is that can't be X-Plane, it can't be P3D, it can't be MSFS, so it's got to be either FSX or FS9, potentially? I don't ever remember a DC-7. Maybe there's a DC-7 for FSX. Or sorry, how stupid of me. You have actually said where it is. It's from Cal Classics DC-7. FSX, that's really, yeah. So what's that like in terms of a piece of freeware? Oh, I am still low. I'm still low. I need to climb. This is where I'm using a gyro pilot and nothing else. How is that? I'd love it if you could send me some screenshots in Discord, Alyssa, for that. I would be very interested in seeing some screenshots of the cockpit layout and everything. If you can, that would be great. Temperatures and oils look okay. Right, so we're probably, yeah, looks like we're just passing Looks like we're just passing Daventry now, so our new radial is going to be 339. So let's set 339 on the radial, and let's head up to 339. So 339 is almost 340, so we just err on the side of caution because I know we've got a horrendous tailwind. Oh my goodness, we have a horrendous tailwind. Okay, let's actually come back on what we just said we were going to do there. And we didn't need to make a turn as horrendous as that. Yeah, the actual offset that I'm flying is quite horrendous with a 47 knot crosswind at this speed, but you know. Okay, let's just maintain our climb. We want to climb back up to 8,000 and then level at 8,000. Yeah, the DC-3 sounds to me like a really interesting aircraft. I would love if we had if we had a lot more vintage airliners in the sim. But it is sad that such classics, such gems are so underflown that the last time anyone ever attempted a DC-7C for a simulator was freeware in FSX, which is sad, but there we go. That's why I love flying it and hope to promote the classics on my channel as much as I can. Okay, there's 8,000. It would be so much better if I was able to fly shared cockpit. If Alyssa, if you fly the DC-3 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you want to do some shared cockpit on VATSIM this evening, hit me up, and after dinner we could do a shared cockpit flight. We could do the return flight, or we could do an American or a Bahamas DC-3 Aloha Airlines DC-3 shared cockpit flight, something like that, as long as it's on VATSIM and we're having fun. Right, let's level out. Just make sure you're leveling and not continuing to climb. But of course, if you're flying the DC-7 this evening, then that's fine. I don't seem to have your Discord. Can I get a link? Of course you can. Let me just grab you a link. Of course, it's going to open on my primary screen. Let's just drag it off to my second screen. Let me see. Right. Invite people. Copy link. And it's going to go. Sadly, this evening I'm modding on Twitch. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Another time, though. Another time if you want to fly the DC-3 shared cockpit in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm looking for people to fly with and do VATSIM videos and stuff. That would be fantastic. So, yeah, looks like we're holding 8,000 now. A lot better, which is good. Now, let's just attend to our course. So you can see, based off of, you can see now our DME1 is 7.3 nautical miles out from Daventry now, and we're actually pretty good on the radial. We're quite close, but you can see the offset we're having to fly because of the wind. And there is an aircraft above me somewhere. Oh, there it is. Hello. Hi. Oh, look at that trail. Haha, look at that. What is he now? You know what? I don't recognize that livery. Or Yeah, look at these trails. Isn't that cool? I always love seeing more. I always love seeing. Yeah, he's just turned at Daventry. He's in the turn over Daventry, probably inbound. Eurotrans. That's who he is. That's what he's called, apparently. Eurotrans. So let's just pause track IR. Let's have a look. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Oh, it's an A36. It's an A300. Ah, it's a BCS. Well, who's the BCS call line? Call sign. BCS call sign. European Air Transport. Oh, it's DHL. Yeah, it's a DHL A300 just passed over us. Eurotrans. That's cool. A lot of people are enjoying the A300, which, oh, and there's another one. There's an A330 BCS further up ahead of me, coming down towards me. We are bang on that rate. We are holding that radio like a madman. I like it. Absolute machine. Let's just. Yeah, I was going to talk about the A300 by Builds. A lot of people are really loving it right now, and it is a really lovely looking aircraft, but I'm not personally going to pay any attention to it because it's just another airliner with a magenta line to follow. So I'm waiting for the Just Flight A300 that's going to be a steam gauge cockpit, and that's the one I'm going to be more interested in, for obvious reasons. But it's going to be a less popular, of course, because it's going to be a harder aircraft to fly over long distances, and he is thundering down upon me. I can see his lights. He's going to get a TCAS alert right now because he is. Yep. Is he climbing? Yeah, he's climbing. He is climbing right now. Wow. Thank you for the avoidance maneuver to the A330 that just buzzed me. Thank you. Right. I saw his lights. I saw his lights in the windscreen, and I could see him getting closer and closer with every passing second. And then I looked at little nav map, and I could see he was like 8,300 feet, and I was like, oh no, is he going to pay attention? But because I have a transponder, and I have a transponder code, and I'm on alt, his transponder would have been screaming at him for TCAS. Hey Ian, I don't know if you just missed the A330 that buzzed me at 1,000 feet. He must. I was just explaining because this DC-3 has a transponder that has an altitude reporting mode. His TCAS must have been screaming at him. Yeah, no, it happened literally about 4 minutes ago. And thankfully, he, even though on Unicom and unguided, he he climbed, and he must have passed over me at about 1,000 feet above me. But of course I don't have TCAS, so all I can do is cheat by looking at little nav map and just look out the window. But thankfully in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can see aircraft quite a long distance by spotting the strobe. And I could definitely spot him because he had his landing lights on under 10,000 feet. And I could see he was lit up like a Christmas tree coming towards me. But as I looked, I could just see him getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, fun times. We're going to get a beautiful sunset here. What a screenshot. Okay, so our next waypoint is Trent. Make sure that we're still on for Edinburgh. Edinburgh looks like it's still working. So Trent, so our arrival should be 1 hour and 44. Trent is 115.7. So let's put that in nav2. 115.7. Yep, and we do have that active. Now that we know we have that active, let's put that in nav1. So let's put 115.7, and let's put 116.4 in nav2. So we're getting the back course. Yeah, boom, perfect. Those are the two VOR radials now, or VOR fixes, positions. And we're on the radial 339, inbound to Trent. So now that we go to the nav1 needle, we see 32 nautical miles and counting down to Trent. And we're ever so slightly low. So let's just tweak that gyropilot pitch knob ever so slightly upwards. Look at this sunset. Isn't it delicious? Ha! Yeah. My C-47 is currently in Melbourne, having flown it from Sydney yesterday. I'm planning to do a return later today. My 777 is in Hong Kong, and I'm planning to fly to Sydney tomorrow. Very nice. Very nice. Just pause track IR. You know what? I'm gonna screenshot that as well. Yeah. Excellent. I see a listener on Discord. Good to see you, man, on Discord. I feel like you've been a viewer of my channel for so long. I'm used to seeing your name, but it's strange to think you've only now just been invited to Discord. So welcome. Yeah, look at that sunset. Ah, oh, beautiful. 53 knot crosswind now. So, I've just given him a wave to say hello. Yeah, so have I. Oh, what a sunset. What is a Delta 737 doing across the UK? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we're being invaded by the Americans. Yeah, FlySim or FlyLive Studio still isn't giving me an ETA. I don't understand why. I posted 3 screenshots of the DC-7 I use in Discord. Excellent. I look forward to looking at them. Ooh. Wow. That really is a lot longer than the DC-6 when you look at it. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Obviously not as good as the PMDG visually, but you know. Wow, it's the 2D cockpit. Yeah. Oh, but you do have the Cal Classic panel. You've got all the data there, looks like. Interesting. Wow. Very interesting. Of course, Boeck flew the DC-7 in real life, and that makes it quite interesting to me. I really am a fan of BOAC and their history. Of course, British European Airways, or British European, BEA is a part of British Airways history because they essentially were amalgamated into BOAC further down the line. So if I remember rightly, BEA and Fly UK were merged into. I can't remember the history exactly, but I was looking this up recently because I was flying an Air UK. So Air Anglia became Air UK, and then it merged with BEA to merge into British Airways, along with Boeck, I think, something like that. I should also say that while it is the Cal Classics DC-7, the installer I used was from Delta Virtual. Okay, yeah. It's been so long since I flew with the flew FSX. Okay, we're slightly high. Let's just pitch down ever so slightly. What's our DME1 is 19.3 nautical miles to our waypoint, which is Trent. Have you lowered the altitude it computes the ETA correctly? Oh, so you're saying Ian, that FlyLive computes the ETA correctly when I'm at a lower altitude? Maybe in the descent it then refreshes or something. Maybe in my settings? Use simulated time for ETA. No, that didn't change anything. Settings. Advanced, about. General. Oh, I see. Show ETA at 500 feet. I don't want to do that. Let's put 10,000 feet and see what happens. It hasn't updated. Maybe I need to be at 8,000. Maybe I need to set it to 8,000 settings. No. Okay, I've set it to 8,000, so if I descend to 8,000, maybe that's what is... How far away am I? 14.9 nautical miles, okay. Oh, we've got an aircraft going across our tail. That's an A330. Black Sea A330 coming down through 6,000 feet. Oh no, rising up through 6,000 feet. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. And we've got an EasyJet above us to the right at 16,000 feet. There he is. Busy skies this evening. If you put 10,000 feet, it'll only show the ETA when you reach 10,000 or above. Oh, okay. Actually, I just passed through 8,000 feet in the descent now, and it's not popped up, as far as I'm aware. So let's just see. Maybe it only happens on when I restart it. Maybe I have to restart the app. But then if I kill the app and restart it, it might break the link with OBS. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's worth. I'll put mine to 2,000 feet. I don't know. Yeah, 2,000 feet works. The issue is that I might not get it back on the Discord on the OBS overlay. If I delete it and restart it, it might break the link. OBS might not recognize that the app has opened up again, and then you'll lose it. So yeah, I'll just leave it for that for the moment and see how it goes. I add a screenshot from my transatlantic flight and a link to the Cal Classics DC-7 page. Oh, thank you. Beautiful. Wow. Go and have a look at that. And yeah, okay, a DC-7 7Cs. Wow. It's got the Boeing livery there as well. When the Britannia encountered development delays, Boeing needed a plane for their premier transatlantic routes. Thus, 10 DC-7s were purchased to tide them over and flew into San Francisco from New York, connecting with Qantas Connies. All were named 7Cs, painted by Eric Jonier. Yeah. Yeah. I'm assuming, yeah, that's the history of of Boeing ordering the Bristol Britannia, which was a non-stop turboprop airliner service from Heathrow to JFK. And there was a delay. So, okay, so we're slightly off. I think this is showing that the wind has strengthened and pushed us off the radial to the east. But we are close enough. We're only 5.5 nautical miles from Trent, And the new outbound radial from Trent is 340, so I'm going to make that adjustment and just keep flying in this direction. And I'm going to fly down. I'm going to just tweak the heading bug to the left ever so slightly, just to adjust for that increase in wind. Yeah, the wind is crosswinds up to 58 knots now. So, and we have descended. Let's just pull up a bit again. My doggo wants out, BRB. Excellent. Yeah, the DC-7 had some interesting engine advancements over the DC-6. I remember watching a documentary about it, and it's something that's quite. Oh, I can see some strobes out in front of me. Who is that? Oh, that's an EasyJet. That's an A320 EasyJet at 9,000 feet in front of me. He's going away from me, though. So that's good. Okay. 2.5 nautical miles to Trent. So the Trent VOR is down there somewhere. And we will... we'll monitor as we pass over the VOR. Pause track IR. Yeah, so I think it was a special advancement over the turbo supercharged engines of the DC-6 that gave them more power. It gave them more power for the same fuel burn. Let me see if I can go and find that YouTube video in my history, and we have an opportunity of educating ourselves. DC-7. Yes, here we go. The turbo compound piston engines. Almost magic tech, it's called.
Finally!
And I hate ads.
Greetings, this is Greg. The World War II era ushered in some incredible piston engine technology, stuff that had been...
So this video, check it out on YouTube, the turbo compound piston engines, almost magic tech, by Greg's Airplanes and Automobiles. He talks about the Douglas DC-7 and the Lockheed Starliner. Well, he talks about...
East traffic, easy 342, clear runway 27, now passing flight level 015 on the Trent 2 November departure.
They used Wright turbo compound engines, which at first glance appear to be a violation of the laws of physics. So, the DC-7 engines are worth a second look for someone who's interested in how that technology all works under the hood. Of course, these engines here do have a supercharger. We do not have the supercharger engaged down at 8,000 feet, but for military operations, the DC-3 or the C-47 Skytrain, as it was called in military service, would have been upwards, of 15,000-20,000 feet, and they would have been using the superchargers to get up that high. And of course, that's when in the old days you'd see the old World War II pilots with their oxygen masks on and everything, because the cabin was not pressurized. Much like the B-17s and Lancasters and everything else. Of course, for the D-Day landings, the C-47 Skytrain was used extensively, landing airdrops over the Normandy beaches. But of course, they would have been coming in because I'm pretty sure that all of the troops in the back wouldn't have all had individual oxygen masks on, so they would have had to have been up at a maximum of 10,000 feet, I'm assuming. Please correct me if I am wrong, but that seems logical. Of course, what they do these days in the military, in the special forces, is they do what are called halo jumps, which are high altitude, low opening, which means the crew, as they jump out of the aircraft, they jump out of the aircraft on oxygen. They have their own oxygen mask fitted to them as they fall, and so they can jump out of the aircraft at 35,000 feet, and then they can parachute. They can either parachute laterally for 20, 30, 40, 50 miles into a target, or they can fall from 35,000 feet and then open very low and insert themselves very quickly into an area from a very high altitude, where you actually from the ground you won't notice an aircraft go overhead at 38,000 feet. If you're in a military compound or wherever, and they can jump out at that high and fall all the way down, and then only open their chutes at a low altitude, and then be on top of you very quickly. So that's what they kind of do, as far as I'm aware, in the modern times. Hey, Bearded Toad. Hello. This tech is still used on some diesel locomotives. Is it? Interesting. Yes, actually, yes. Marvin, yes, that video covers that. That video I just referenced covers that, because I remember watching, and he does start talking about the fact that tech is still sometimes used on diesel trucks. I do need to watch that video again to see exactly what is happening with the physics of that engineering to make that gain. Of course, sadly, in the world of aviation, the high degree of complexity needed for such a system makes that system now in nowadays totally redundant. We have turboprops which are probably just as good and significantly simpler and easier to maintenance and run than having something so complex as that setup as the DC-7 engines. But interesting that's what they did. Interesting. So I know Pole Hill is going to be so Pole Hill is ahead of us. It's 1:12:10. So let's put 1:12:10 set. Yep, and we've got Pole Hill, so let's put 1:12:10. Let's put 15:7. Like so. So we've got the two there now. We can see we're slightly off to the right hand side of that radial. Well, actually no, that's pretty good. That's still the radial of 390. Actually 340, sorry. Yeah, radial 340, that's correct. We're still looking at that. I can see. What's that light flashing off way in the distance? What is that? Is that? It's gone now. It was off to my 1 o'clock. But there we go. Okay, so we're holding nicely at 8,000. Let's just do a fuel check. Yeah. Just under 160 gallons on either side. That's good. So, okay, so down... that down there is an A320 at 3,700 feet, who's just taken off from Manchester. I'm getting Manchester. Yep, Manchester's off to my left-hand side. Where is Manchester? Oh, there it is. There's Manchester. Right there. I can see a strobe. And there's someone on... There's someone on final... Oh, actually, that could be Manchester right there. He is moving, yeah. That's an EasyJet at 1,300 feet. Yeah, I think it's just... Yeah, there's Manchester right there. There's the two runways. And he is... I can't pick him out. There he is. I saw a flash. Anyway, he's down there somewhere. So, oh, and there's someone flashing off to my right-hand side. Hello. He looks like he's turning in to Manchester, but he's down at 3,400 feet. I am slightly off the radial now, so I am going to come back yet again. And I'm going to go over this guy's head at 8,000, which is fine. Yep, there he is. So that's an A320, a British Airways A320. He's taking a right-hand turn, and he's going to cross beneath us on an extended centre line into Manchester. That's what I see him doing. And interestingly, I think Manchester is also uncontrolled at the moment. Nope, Manchester has a tower.
Ryanair 2002 descending to flight level 35.
Yeah, Manchester has a tower and a ground on. So, but of course I'm not on that frequency. And hopefully, yep, it looks like Edinburgh is still fully staffed. Let's just hope that they remain so. So we've got an EasyJet behind me. What altitude is he doing? He's 19,000 feet. There's a Ryanair at 6,000 feet to my left-hand side. It's busy this evening. There he is. There he is. He's coming in for the ILS. But then there's this Speedbird on an extended final approach. So this Ryanair is going to cut in. Actually, no, he's way too close. Is he not way too close for the ILS? No, he's not really. Wow. Apparently not. There's this guy. Yeah, it's interesting. It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off in front of me. I'm just sitting up here in a little DC-3. Oh, I've got some stuff to read here. Oh shoot, what's that noise? Oh, I opened the window, okay. I thought I'd opened a door for a second by accident. I had opened the window. There you go. It scared me a little bit there. Look at these strobes here. Okay, to achieve surprise, the parachute drops were routed to Normandy, to approach Normandy at low altitude from the west. They flew over the English Channel at 500 feet MSL to remain below German radar coverage. They then dropped anywhere from 300 to 2,000 feet. Wow. Yeah. Goodness me. Thank you for the details there, Ian. Listener, the flight can continue now. I have returned. Ah, excellent. Thank you. Shire Watch Company. Where are you seeing this info? What info are we talking about? Oh, I was talking about the engine info. There was a video that I linked. If I go to, or are you talking about the DC-3 parachute drop info? I will pull up this video in just a second for you. Here it is. So. The video I was referencing about the turbo compound piston engines, which were used on the DC-7, is this on YouTube. It's by a username called Greg's Airplanes and Automobiles, and the video is called Turbo Compound Piston Engines, full stop, almost magic tech, full stop. Well worth a watch if you want to learn about the advancements that Douglas made pre-jet age. Okay, so we do have another aircraft in front of me here, again at 3,200 feet. That Speedbird is inbound. And then that I tell you what, that Ryanair, I can see on little nav map, that Ryanair has slotted himself right in front of that Speedbird and YOLOing himself in down the ILS. Like an absolute Ryanair Giga Chad. And there we go, look at that. What's that? That's a Shamrock. Yeah, I can see it. I can see the livery from here. The green tail. There he is. Oh, it's just lovely, this simulator. And there are the strobes of the other aircraft. Yeah, that British Airways is sadly going to have to go around, because there's no way that with that separation that they can both get on the ground without a go around. But we'll see what happens. I'll watch on I'll just watch the landing on little nav map and let you know if that British Airways behind the Ryanair. He had a really long. He was the one that had the long. He had the long lineup, or the long final approach. I think the Ryanair snuck in front of him and is going to get to land, and then the Speedbird's going to have to go around. Okay, the Ryanair is just landing now. Or is he? Looks like the Ryanair did a go around. Yep, the Ryanair did a go around. It must be gusty down there. It must be gusty down there. I'm going to double check what the METAR is for Manchester, because that's quite surprising. I would have thought it was the wind was pretty close to the center line of the runway. Yeah, it's not a huge issue. It's only 9 knots of wind, pretty much on the nose. So I don't know what the reason for that go around is. But at least it means that the Speedbird gets to have a landing attempt. So we're bang on the radial still. Inbound to Pole Hill. We're probably about 10 nautical miles away from Pole Hill now. Yep, there you go, 10.5 nautical miles. Speedbird is on short final now. He's about to touch down. And the Shamrock is number 2. Yeah, just VATSIM things. Are you using a third-party app to see the info of the other players in the area? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. So I'm using, for my navigation, Little Nav Map. And Little Nav Map, I can see myself on the map. I can see the radials and the course I'm flying. I can see my wind offset, which I suppose you could say is cheating if I'm supposed to not be using a GPS or anything. It's like it's a GPS, but at the same time, as a pilot in the 1940s and 50s, you would have to be doing navigation as well as flying the plane, so I have a middle-of-the-road sort of situation, particularly on VATSIM, where you just kind of have to know what's going on. But it allows me to see the other aircraft on VATSIM, and that's the Speedbird that has just turned off the centerline, and the Shamrock is... oh, someone's turning on. for a takeoff. The Ryanair is going for a takeoff, while the Shamrock is 1,700 feet on short final. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. He needs to get in the air pronto. He needs to be toga right now. Interesting. I'll let you know how that goes out. Oh, I am descending significantly. Okay, the Ryanair
Manchester
is...
traffic, Shamrock 2, 1 kilo extra, short final 2, straight right, Manchester.
Yeah, oh, now the Shamrock's just made the call, which means the tower controller's probably gone offline. And that Ryanair...
Right, I'm to the Yankee departure from runway 24, right?
He is now climbing through 500 feet while the Shamrock is descending through 600 feet. That was close. Anyway, enough of that. It's just VATSIM things. I'm going to concentrate on what I need to concentrate on now. So, yeah, we're just doing our thing, you know. Just pause track IR. We are actually 4 nautical miles away from Pole Hill, and the ongoing radial from Pole Hill is 339. So it's literally 1 click to the left for the new radial, which apparently I am to the left of. So there's that. But essentially, very little change here. Is there ATC online? Because this is breaking some rules. There's no ATC online. There's apparently a no. The tower controller of Manchester's gone. There's just a ground. But the approach controller for Edinburgh has gone offline, but we still have a tower and ground controller at Edinburgh. So hopefully I can get there before the tower controller gives up. I would have liked the approach controller, but there we go. But our ground speed's only 133 knots, so it's still... Volant is giving us an hour and 3 minutes. Yeah, an hour and 3 minutes of an arrival time. So, what's breaking some rules then, Marvin?
Manchester traffic, Shuttle 3 Victor will be lining up, runway 23 right behind the arriving Ryanair. Traffic.
Right, we're right overhead the VOR now, overhead Pole Hill, and we're just holding our heading because we know our course is good, and we'll come out over the other side of the VOR, and the VOR radial should then calm down. Cool. I've not seen this app. Are they all VATSIM players or some AI? They're all VATSIM flyers, and every now and then you can hear on Unicom frequency. You can hear them talking to each other and announcing their intentions. Tower wouldn't clear someone for takeoff with an arriving aircraft that close. Oh yeah. That does break some rules. So basically, the tower controller must have gone offline while the guy was holding short, and he must have looked out of his cockpit and gone, "Yep, no one's there. Let's go." Taxied out onto the runway and took off without realizing there was a, and yeah. It's that horrible time frame between a controller going offline and then people just descending into pure anarchy. I feel like this week has actually been quite busy on VATSIM. For weekdays, yet last night was very busy. I was flying out of Stansted in an F-28, and it was hectic. Let's Let's just make sure we climb slightly. Don't want to get too low there. I found you on Volanta, BEA033. Yep, that's me. That is me. So I should be roughly an hour from landing in Edinburgh now. Coming up just past Pole Hill VOR and inbound to TLA. We can tune TLA now. I don't know that we'll find it at this point. I think it's still a bit far out for picking up TLA. It's 13.8.
Binary 2002 on final approach to Manchester.
Oh no, we can pick up TLA. Nice. Okay, so let's put 13.8 on nav 1, and let's put 12.10 on nav 2. Transfer. Okay, there's those two set, so yeah, all good. And we know that the radial is 339, and we know we're pretty much bang on that radial, no problems, and at 8,000 feet, so still good. Cruising nicely. Oh, we got some traffic out the window here. Just do a bit of a quick. Yeah, we've about 3/4 of full tanks on either side, which is fine. I mean, we're halfway. If you think about it, we're halfway to Edinburgh by now from London. Meaning that, you know, if we're halfway to Edinburgh and we've only burnt a quarter of our fuel, we're not doing too bad. I am going to take a screenshot there because that looks, I just love the lights. The lighting is beautiful. That after dark glow in the sky, and then the reflection off the piping here, and then the engine cowling and the wing, and then the street lights below. Oh, it's just beautiful. This sim really does an excellent job at lighting. It really is exactly what I wanted, because for years I was complaining about the lighting in P3D was just so unrealistic, and it still is unrealistic for the majority of lighting situations. It just doesn't do deep darks, it doesn't do bright whites, it doesn't do contrast very well. And it just kind of has this weird pasty look most of the time. It doesn't, I mean, it depends. In broad daylight versus darkness, it doesn't really hit a good, I mean, bright sunlight in P3D is probably the best looking light in the sim. But pretty much any other lighting situation, the whole thing kind of starts to fall apart for me. I know it's manageable, I know it's okay, but the lighting, the way the light works in this simulator is, I believe, far superior. Although, to be fair, P3D version 6, you know, is a lot better than, let's say, P3D version 3 was, with its ambience and its new clouds and that sort of stuff. So. So how far are we from TLA? 100 nautical miles, okay. Let's just pause track IR again. So after this I'm going to pause to have dinner, and then I might come back on, and I might do a VATSIM flight further out west, like in the States where there's some sunshine. I'm not sure what aircraft I'll be in. I could be the DC-3, could be something else, something vintage maybe. I'll have to look at where we've got VATSIM coverage. Oh, let me actually look now. Okay, so we've got something West Coast. We've got Los Angeles Center. We've got Vegas. We've got Vegas and LAX. ATIS's, and we've got Los Angeles Center. What else? We've got Oklahoma City approach on. We've got Chicago approach. So there's that, and then we've got a load of eastern. Then we've got a load of eastern control centers on. We've got Toronto online and Chicago. Detroit. We could do Detroit into Chicago or something like that. Maybe it would be nice to do something in the Caribbean from Nassau back into Miami perhaps. But there's no ATC online at the moment. But maybe in a couple of hours that might have changed. You know what? I feel like I've not got no scenery whatsoever no scenery packages for South America, but I think maybe one day I should do some South American flying. I think that would be a lot of fun. Air Canada A34 340-600 going inbound to somewhere. So we've got some the Azores are online, and some Spanish and Portuguese. Faro is online. Faro's been online for quite a few hours now, so that might not be online for much longer. We've got Valencia, we've got Palma, Athens. We've got Ben Gurion. We've got Cairo. I do have the Ben Gurion scenery. It's very nice. There's this 172 out there. That would be dark at the moment. I wonder... No, there's no ATC online out there. We've got some Finnish. Oh, look, we got Helsinki. Interesting. But once we've landed in Edinburgh, I would like to do something out west. So, we have Halifax. Interesting. We've got Halifax. I don't think it would be a long... it might not be a... I'd say a max 2-hour live stream. I say we do a Cessna 172 flight in the States. I just love to try to do some shared cockpit with someone. Okay, let's just check the situation. We're still on the radial. DME is 91 nautical miles, so we've gone about 10 miles since I last checked. Just check the fuel. Yeah, we're coming down to about 130 gallons on either side, which is between a quarter and a half full. We're good on altitude. We really are just set in a really nice little cruise here. Just cruising along in the DC-3. See, I love this when in a vintage aircraft you think it's really stressful and it's high intensity workload and all this, but And it kind of is, it has its moments, obviously, but when you have everything properly tuned, you're set into a cruise nicely, there is quite a lot of hands-off moments in the DC-3 and other assorted vintage craft. P3D does need some shader magic to look better, that is very true. But then the thing with P3D, I remember, is that the amount of effort and time it takes you to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak with your various mod arrangements and setups to get it just right, and then to get the performance actually flyable. For me, I always found that a huge challenge. We could fly out of Edinburgh in a Cessna 172 after dinner. Or maybe we could fly around Halifax in a 172. Or potentially we could take off from Toronto City, Billy Bishop Toronto City Centre, with that Toronto ATC coverage. Or we could fly out of Meigs Field in Chicago with the Chicago ATC that's online. That would be fun. Ooh, a Meigs Field. Actually, oh, that's actually a good idea. If I'll keep an eye on that ATC, because if Chicago Approach stays online, I could tune him up, and then I could fly out of Meigs Field and then just do a massive VFR lap of Chicago and come back in. That would be quite nice. Winnipeg Tower is on. We'll keep a look. I kind of like the idea of doing some Caribbean, Nassau, etc. Or maybe some Hawaiian flying if some ATC comes online in a couple of hours. That would be nice. We'll just have to keep monitoring stuff and see how we go. But good to try and have some sort of a game plan even at this point. That's good. Just double checking. So Edinburgh has got a stream of aircraft coming in and out of Edinburgh right now. And the tower and the ground is still on. So hopefully we'll get the tower, at least the tower and the ground on when we arrive. Let's see, what's our arrival time? It's now 53 minutes arrival time. Yeah, that DC-7 Cal Classics shot you uploaded, Alyssa Orr, looks really nice. I like that. I just really hope that A2A is working on the 377 and the at least, I know the 377 is quite far down their list because they want to get their GA line out first into Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I just hope that at least the Connie isn't that far away. We just need some vintage stuff. So, how are we looking? Let's have a look at the METAR for Edinburgh. Okay, so QNH is 1018. We have a headwind of 11 knots on approach to runway 24, 8 Celsius, scattered at 3,500, and it is technically VFR conditions, so that's fun. And since there's no approach on, he's not going to pressure us to do a star. We could have a quick look at what kinds of stars there are from TLA. We could potentially fly one of those. So let's have a look at Navigraph. To see if there are any stars. Yeah, that was my flight yesterday from Stansted to Zurich. Let's not hide that. Import flight from SimBrief. Select. Okay. Okay, so Edinburgh. Arrivals available. Select. Oh, okay. So. Not really. That's not really helping me. So I'm literally going to fly TLA and then inbound from there. Radar vectors, basically. I'm not going to worry too much about that. So let's have a look. Where are we? We are 77 nautical miles out from TLA. Let's just tweak altitude slightly, and we are still bang on the radial, so excuse me. I might just turn off my microphone while I have a little munch on a snack. Okay, I am back. Just had a quick chat with the wife, and got some snacks. Okay, so Edinburgh Tower and ground is still on, thankfully. They do have an ATIS, so we'll listen to the ATIS as we get closer. We're still currently quite far away. So 61 nautical miles, and we are to the left of the track, so we will just come to the right slightly and try to adjust that. Like so. I would love it if one day we just had a straight up 50s, 60s vintage VATSIM day where everyone on VATSIM jumps into DC-3s, DC-6s, Connies, Strata Cruisers, you know, and just flew around and did all of the routes and regional stuff of that time period. And DC-4s or Argonauts. And just had fun with vintage stuff. I think that would be a blast. Like a vintage VATSIM event. But you'd have to get a lot of people on board to get that, to do that. Maybe I should... I don't know who I would talk to see if we could try and sort something like that out, but I would definitely be up for it. Okay, so it's currently still 14 knots, wind at Edinburgh at 7 Celsius. Yeah. It's all looking good. We just need Edinburgh to stay online. We've got Albuquerque Center come online in the States. Still no Caribbean or Florida ATC, sadly. Halifax has gone offline. Heathrow controls, of course, all come back up online. Yeah, Gatwick and Heathrow are crammed. Pretty much crammed. Yeah, Edinburgh's got two very short final close together A320s that one of them is definitely going to have to go around. Two easy jets. I'm just looking on VATSIM. I'm not looking. I can't see the traffic all the way from here on little nav map. Count me in. Yes, Ian. Oh, wouldn't that just be so cool, Ian? Like, the whole VATSIM sky is full of DC-6s, DC-3s, Connies, Strats. All historically, you know, doing vintage historical routes. Like, we could do some research and pull up several, like, European regional routes, some transatlantic routes, and then just try and arrange, like, a VATSIM Europe-wide vintage day, where the whole day everyone just flies the vintage aircraft. Obviously there would be stragglers who would like still be logging on in A320s running around, But that would kind of break the immersion. So maybe we could try and find a way of locking VATSIM. It would be nice to have a thing where you could not log on to VATSIM in anything other than vintage aircraft of a certain time period, and just have a whole day where VATSIM is just covered with vintage aircraft. I feel like it's just a bit of a pipe dream that I'm coming up with, and that the only way we could ever get that to work is if we had our own private little JoinFS server where we all got online and did that together locally. But I'd love to do some shared cockpit in something cool. I'm gonna just Google your controls again. Your controls. Shared cockpit. I don't know if the F-28, the Fokker F-28 by Just Flight, was actually added to the Your Controls system. It would be amazing if it was. I would love to fly the F-28 with someone in the cockpit. I mean, I love flying vintage, but these vintage aircraft with the higher workload, is really screaming for proper shared cockpit abilities. Like the DC-3 here, I managed to get Your Controls working very easily. I think it was with a listener in chat a couple of months back, and it was amazing. It was just amazing. So if anyone wants to learn how to fly the DC-3 on VATSIM with checklists and such, not that I'm using checklists now, obviously. Because they're a bit annoying right now. Actually, while I'm in cruise, yeah, that's a good point. While I'm in cruise, I need to find the official Airplane Heaven DC-3 checklist, wherever that is hidden. I think it could be on in my community folder. Ah. Ah. Aeroplane Heaven Aircraft DC-3 livery. But where is the base folder? Ah, a Sobo. A Sobo DC-3? DC-3? Okay, there's the Duckworths. A Sobo. Where is the base DC-3 folder? Okay, I'm just gonna give up trying to find that. I'm just gonna go to my default Google Drive doc, which should be, I should have the Airplane Heaven. I should have the Airplane Heaven DC-3. No, I don't. Where is it? Where is it? Move that to trash, don't need that. Where is the Airplane Heaven DC-3 manual that I had somewhere? It's not in my downloads folder, is it? No. DC-3 manual. Okay, so I think I need to go to the Airplane Heaven website to download the manual. I like how they still haven't released the DC-3 as a separate product on their website, which they said they were going to do like years ago. They were developing it as a separate product. Then Asobo bought it from them for the 40th anniversary. Then they released it as an Asobo aircraft, and at the time they said, "Oh, well, we're also going to release it as a standalone aircraft with more updates." And of course, Airplane Heaven being Airplane Heaven, promise an update, and it's just absolutely zero updates or zero effort, I feel, after they release their products. And then they argue with you on their social media outlets, on public forums. whenever you object. Right, okay, so I can't find where that maybe questions, maybe the I don't know. I know it's got to be somewhere on my computer, but I cannot find this document. Nope. Nope. Not gonna find that document for love nor money. That's annoying. Anyway. Right, where are we? Let's have an update. DME 1 is 26 nautical miles out. Oh yes, we are definitely slightly off. So let's take a right-hand turn slightly here. We're good on altitude, just about. We're 200 feet off, so let's just nose up slightly. Just do a fuel check. We're almost half tanks, so you know that's fine. We've not got far to run now to Edinburgh. We're 23 minutes out from Edinburgh now, so. And are the ATCs still on? It would appear so. Actually, let's just refresh. Please. Yes, okay. The tower has gone offline, but ground is still on. There's still a lot, it looks like a lot of traffic coming inbound to yeah, a lot of traffic inbound to Edinburgh. So we might either be the last one in, or we might be stuck in amongst the fast jets, scrambling to get on the ground without being squashed. But we will see. We will see how things go. Yeah. Edinburgh ground. Yeah, so Edinburgh ground and Edinburgh ATIS is now in range in V-Pilot. Let me make one last concerted effort to try to. Oh, sorry. Let's do one last concerted effort to try to get you some comprehensive checklists for the DC-3 for the landing. So DC-3 checklist. That's not going to work. I'm going to delete that because that's a waste of time. Okay, there's the little nav map profile for the DC-3, which is good. The schedule, which is good, which is the BEA schedule document I've downloaded. That's good. DC-3, sir, manual just sent you to via PM under. My good man. What an absolute gentleman. Oh my goodness. Ian, thank you. Oh, thank you. I think The manual you've just sent me is probably going to be the P3D version of the Aeroplane Heaven DC-3 manual, but it's the checklists are exactly the same, so that's fine, thanks. Okay, checklists. Cruise. Okay, before landing. Okay, the cowl flaps as required. Mixture auto lean. Fuel selector valves. Cruise tanks. Yep. Power adjustments as advised. Automatic pilot as required. Okay. So the next checklist after that is the before landing checklist, which we will do on final approach. Thank you, Ian. Everyone give Ian a hand in chat. That's helpful. Okay, so yeah, 16 nautical miles now to TLA. So it's getting a little bit more closer now. Yep, and that radial is lining up slightly nicer. And let me just look at all the arrivals into. That's Bickhoff. Okay, there's an A320. There's an A320, a 737 inbound. Oh, there's a ton of stuff around. Not actually 4 of them. There's 4. 5. Sorry, 5 inbounds that will all mostly get in front of me. So yeah, like this guy up here, he's going inbound to Edinburgh. Yeah, he's in the descent coming down through 17,000 feet, 737. So he's gonna come into Edinburgh, but of course he's gonna land way before me. So the new exhibition space at Foynes is now open. Do you fancy another visit later this year or next summer 2025? Ooh. Oh, good call. 12.3 nautical miles inbound. Just thinking of my schedule now. I might be able to make it later, like I'd say like late summer maybe, Ian. Like
this is NF traffic descending to Parford and flight level 7 south.
I'd say like maybe August, September time. Too bad Cosford never happens anymore, but I'd say probably August. If not August, maybe September. But I don't know what your schedule is. You could be quite busy at certain times of the year. I can't quite remember what the seasons are, but yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pencil that in my mind for kind of potential August, September. And as the spring gets underway, I'll reassess that, I think. But thank you for flagging that up. The new exhibition space. Interesting. I wonder what's in that. As long as it's midweek, all should be good. My busy times are the weekends. Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sure we could make that happen. 7.5 nautical miles. We are now significantly to the right of radial track. So let's just bring it back in. Yeah, there's that Ryanair, I think, off my right-hand side still. Is that a Ryanair? I don't know what that is.
It's just like I want to see the traffic. We're expecting ILS 24 via the Tunstall 1 Echo arrival, descend to flight level 4,020 nautical miles out of the airport.
Hmm, 3.5 nautical miles now. Okay, so let's start thinking about this. Our outbound radial from TLA needs to be 360, so let's set that now. Set. And in a few miles, as we get to about 1 nautical mile, we will turn directly due heading north. Well, not quite north, because we know we've got that left-hand crosswind, so a few degrees to the left of north, and then monitor accordingly. And we're at 8,000 crossing over TLA, so we need to be about 3,000 by the end of the ILS. So we've got more than enough room to begin our descent. That shouldn't be an issue. Let's just see how far out we are now. 1.7, 1.5. Let's start heading due north. I'm going to call it about there. Let's give it 10 degrees. See how that looks. Okay, so from this point, now that we've passed TLA, we'll fly the radial for a little bit, but at some point we've got to go radar vectors, our own radar vectors in the night, which is a bit. We do have an NDB, the Edinburgh NDB, which should give us a bit of an offset. I'm going to tune that now. That is 341.
Edinburgh traffic shuts down the go, approaching short runway 24.
And we don't have it yet, but that can be useful.
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01, 4 miles for a touch and go. We're just going to continue because the Delta's not responding. And then we'll be out your way at the departure.
Roger. That was just disconnected, so I'll just ask the Edinburgh traffic shut down the go.
Appreciate it. Stingray 01, Edinburgh traffic.
Stingray? Oh, Lelystad, the Netherlands, world's biggest international flight simulation event. Yo. That's where it's all going down these days. Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for the links, Ian. Right, so we...
This fly by 123 established on the ILS, runway 24.
This leg is 27 nautical miles to Edinburgh. So we're 5.2 nautical miles out from TLA, which is behind us. In the daylight, you would see those big, beautiful mountains, or hills. They're not really mountains. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to start descending now, so...
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01 departing 240 Edinburgh traffic.
Okay, that is about 15 nautical miles south of the airport. Edinburgh traffic, beeline 033 is a DC-3 just left the TLA VOR, approximately 15 nautical miles south of the field, descending from 8,000 to 3,000 feet, ready for the ILS runway 24 Edinburgh traffic. Okay. Coming down through 7. Let's go local QNH, local barometric pressure. Let's go and double check what that is at Edinburgh, just so that we're 1019. Which in I've just hit the B key. I've just hit the B key, so
And Edinburgh traffic, session 9 go clear runway 24.
okay, so at this point, we still don't see the Edinburgh NDB, but that's what we're going to be using. We can see various lights at the moment. We know the airfield is kind of off in this direction somewhere. Coming down through 7,000, let's get the landing lights on, and everything else is okay. Let's just double check our checklist. No, that's the next checklist is the before landing checklist, which we kind of do on final approach, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Coming down through 7,000 feet, at about 5,000 feet we'll go to Mixture Ridge.
This is fly-by-wire 123, we are landing on runway 24.
So the field is the airfield's got to be out here somewhere. I see a strobe off here in the distance, so it's got to be down in here somewhere. Oh no, actually, no, that's it right there. Yeah, it's because of that left-hand crosswind that's the offset that we're having to fly to stay on the outbound radial. Yeah, there's the bridge. So that's Edinburgh there. So we'll head towards that. We'll take a right-hand turn and then come out over the water and then back in for the approach onto runway 24. I love the scenery even at night. That's how much I just love the looks of this sim. It's just so immersive. I like it. Okay, right. The last iteration of the show was held in early November of 2022. The show will be held at the Aviation Museum Aviodrome, located in Lelystad. The museum also features a recreation of the old Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. No way. But most impressively, it features one of KLM's Boeing 747s, complete with interior if you explore both inside and out. Nice. Yo. That sounds fun. Okay, what have we got here? We've got two aircraft. I've not descending on my right flank. Oh, Spitfires. Oh my goodness, we've got 2 inbound Spitfires. On my 4 o'clock. Coming down through 15 and 17,000 feet. That's cool. Okay. Right, I have the field in sight. Right there. So... Edinburgh traffic, beeline is 033, has the field in sight, approximately 10 nautical miles to the south. Will turn heading 045 to vector for the ILS 24 Edinburgh traffic. Okay, so let's...
Hello.
About there. Okay, coming down through 5,000 feet, let's get mixture rich. And let's just reduce. Actually, let's stop right there. I think that green dot just up there is the Spitfires. Okay, so because the wind is pushing us, we don't really need to turn to 045, it's just 030. And we'll just see how we go. Right, so let's get this ILS dialed in. So the frequency is 1089. Set. And the localizer is 241. Set. You can see the glide and the localizer now. So, and there is the field. Okay, we need to decelerate. So coming down to 20 inches manifold, and because I don't want to drive the engines by the props, I will bring the props down to compensate as well. I am going to take off the autopilot at this time, even though I'm still flying IFR. Coming down through 4,700 feet. Just going to maintain this attitude and this descent rate. I'm not watching chat at the moment, and those Spitfires are blazing in behind me at 12,000 feet. Okay, coming down to 3,000 feet. We'll level out at 3,000 feet, fly outbound a little bit more, and yeah, that's my... Okay, there's 3,000 feet. Okay, let's just fly straight and level. Oh, yeah, that's decelling. And
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01, base flag for 24, low approach and depart to the west, Edinburgh traffic.
Oh, he's just going to do basically a low approach. I don't think he's going to land. There's the glide coming up, I can see it. Edinburgh traffic, beeline 033 is turning left, heading 300 to intercept localizer 24, Edinburgh traffic. Okay, we're going to do a left-hand turn.
Okay, in that case, Stingray 001 is following minimum approach trees for separation, Edinburgh traffic.
Thanks. Ultimately, I haven't seen that NDB come alive for... Oh, I passed through it's 0...
Edinburgh traffic, Swift Alpha out of 2, we are holding overhead Hermiston, will be inbound from runway 24, Edinburgh traffic.
Oh, screw that. Okay, that 737's just... Okay, I'm going to turn south, so beeline 033 is turning due south to get out of the way of Stingray 01.
Appreciate it, yeah, we only had about 2 miles separation there.
Yeah, my ground speed's 95 knots, so I'm going to get out of your way. Yeah, he came out of nowhere, goodness me. Right, heading due south, roughly, due south. And we just continue to decel. Let's actually put the RPM up to 2500. Okay, once he passes behind us, we can turn back on ourselves and recommit.
Mayday, 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 Edinburgh traffic, Golf November Tango Romeo, we have, yes, actually had an engine failure, will be inbound for runway 24 immediately, Edinburgh traffic.
Who is that? Is that the Spitfire? Oh my goodness. Okay, well I'm out of his way, so... Edinburgh traffic, beeline 033 is turning due north again to come in behind Stingray 01. Let's go flaps. 1 notch of flaps there.
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01, 6 miles for low approach and depart to the west, Edinburgh traffic.
So he's not actually doing a... He's not actually doing... He's doing a low approach and departure to the
Edinburgh
west.
traffic, Golf Hotel November Tango Romeo, currently overhead Edinburgh, will be inbound runway 24 with engine failure, Edinburgh traffic.
What? I don't know what's going on. I don't see any other aircraft in the airspace apart from me and those 2 Spitfires who are just fooling around, so I'm gonna call it there. Right, so .9 nautical miles. Okay, let's start descending. So that we're...
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01, short final 24, Edinburgh traffic.
Yeah, that's him.
Edinburgh traffic, Golf Tango Romeo, we're down and runway will be disconnected from now, Edinburgh traffic.
Who's lining up?
Someone's just lining up, they said. Okay, so mixture is rich. Props are full forward. Lights are on. we're only doing a ground speed of 84 knots because we have a headwind of 35 knots. So it's a bit crazy right now. And we still don't see that NDB of 341. Yeah. It should be on. Right. Game face on. Let's get this done. Right, we're on the glide. And there's the alright, let's go gear down.
Edinburgh traffic, Stingray 01 departing to the west. Edinburgh traffic, thanks for your help, Beeline.
No worries. Beeline 033 is established, runway 024, and we are 5.8 nautical miles, Edinburgh traffic. Okay, here we are, guys. I haven't given myself any more flaps because our ground speed is 70 knots. So, yeah. So, now we could do our before landing checklist. So let's bring that up. Thank you, Ian. Automatic pilot is off. Altimeters are set. Fuel selector valves are on mains. Mixtures are auto-rich. Carburetor air needs to be on cold. Like so. Fuel booster pumps, let's put those on. Like so. Ignition, check. Yeah, ignition is fine. Propellers set to full forward. Landing gear is down and latched. 3 green. We've got green light on that. Tail wheel is locked. We're not going to use tail wheel. And de-ices are off. Parking brake is off. Flaps are as desired. Before landing checklist complete, and then we have the after landing. Okay, so I'm not going to look at chat right now, but yeah, while I was doing that checklist, I came off the glide, and he's going to climb away to the right, and probably want to come back around and recommit. So let's just get a view. I'm just holding a view here in the aircraft where I can both see the runway ahead of me and I can see the ILS and glide slope needle. And I'm just adjusting as I go.
Edinburgh traffic, headbang to Charlie, holding short, runway 24.
What did he say? Did he say... I don't know. Let me just double check what's going on. Okay, we've got an A320 ready to line up. I hope he doesn't pull onto the runway before I get there. Edinburgh traffic, Beeline 033, short final, 2 nautical miles now, 2.7 nautical miles, runway 24, Edinburgh traffic. That's in case he gets any ideas. Okay, so we're basically coming down the glide at 110 miles an hour. But because of that horrendous headwind, actually that headwind is now reduced to about 15 knots. So that's given us, actually no, we're still about 83 knots ground speed, lol. So yeah. We're a bit below the glide, so, and let's just watch the pappies as well. Okay, it's going to get a bit bumpy. This is why you fly a vintage airliner. for these choppy, bumpy approaches with no heads-up displays. Right, slightly above the glide now, let's adjust. And as soon as we get about halfway down those leading lights, we'll cut the power and glide her in. Okay, looking good. A little bit low, but that's fine. We can adjust. There's the EasyJet on holding short. Okay, pulling back now. Okay, power goes to idle.
Edinburgh traffic, Alpine to Charlie, line up runway 24.
Oh no, not two bounces. No, don't do this to me. It's so hard to gauge.
Easy does it, Captain.
It's so hard to gauge the DC-3's attitude looking out those windows. Yeah, now with the flaps going up, that tail wheel actually comes down properly. Because we still got a 20 knot headwind. Okay, now we are, let's go to open on both cowl flaps. Flaps up, cowls open, fuel booster pumps go off. Elevator trim set to neutral. Let's do the rest of this checklist off the hold, off the active.
Edinburgh traffic, is the runway 24 clean?
Yes, I think so.
It is now, thanks. Beeline 033 is now just off runway 24, Edinburgh traffic.
Okay, sorry, Alpine to Charlie, take off right now, runway 24.
Okay, taxiing in. All right, that was...
anyone is ready? I'm landing now, or should I wait?
Yes, Edinburgh traffic, Lufthansa 25 Alpha is on 6 miles final for runway 24.
Okay, so elevator trim set to neutral. Propellers full forward, high RPM, tail wheel unlocked. After landing checklist complete. Then we've got the parking checklist. Now there's the EasyJet taken off next to us. Oh, someone has... Oh crap, yeah, completely forgot that there was Edinburgh ground, lol. 121755. 121755. Edinburgh ground, Beeline 033. I do apologise, I completely forgot you were there in all the excitement. Just taxiing along into stand.
That's Beeline 033, no worries. Do you have a requested stand?
No, just put me where you want me. Thanks, Beeline 033.
Beeline 033, roger. You can take stand 105 via Echo.
So that is stand 105 and take a right on Echo, Beeline 033. Okay, that is this here. And stand is the first on the right.
Actually, Beeline 033, you can take stand of choice via Echo. Any stand, that's fine.
Stand of choice, thanks, Beeline 033. Okay, so he's given us stand of choice.
Seabird 838, there's no GC further. 1 Unicorn 122, decimal, bye-bye.
1 Unicorn 122.
Okay, Bravo Whiskey Golf.
Yep.
Right, so Bravo Whiskey Golf, you're definitely wanting to fly VFR as an A320 out of Edinburgh.
Sorry, IFR, please.
Bravo Whiskey Golf, roger. In that case, you'll need to refile because you followed the VFR flight plan. So.
Edinburgh ground, I've refiled my flight plan.
Bravo Whiskey Golf, roger, but there's no route there, so you'll need to add an IFR route instead of just the words VFR.
Avionics going off. Oh, landing lights going off. Position going off. Pitot going off. Passing going off.
Edinburgh ground, Blue Max 813, stand 1 Alpha, request push and start.
Blue Max 813, stand 1 Alpha, your push and start is approved.
Push and start approved, Blue Max 813.
Okay. So, parking checklist. Parking brake is on. Cowl flaps as desired. Tail wheel locked. Might as well just lock it now.
Okay, Bravo Whiskey Golf, I'll send you your route
happy.
now. Just check you can fly that, please, and confirm for me the routing.
Disconnect. There we go. Okay, so radio's off. Battery switch. Off. There we go. Landing gear handle is down. Flaps are up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Edinburgh. That was a fun flight. I enjoyed that. So, classic example of why you need to date charts, up-to-date charts for parking. Yeah. Yeah, well, a little nav map has actually, in terms of charts, parking stands, I could see he gave me this one, 105, but then he gave me stand of choice, so I just took the one to the left. But, yeah. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining, ladies and gents. It's now 6:30. I propose that I start the live stream back up again at 7:30 for another hour or two. And I go fly somewhere in the daytime over in the States. So if you feel like joining me in a couple of hours in 1 hour, I'm going to go have dinner. And I'll be back online in about an hour for another flight. So thank you very much, guys, for joining, and I will catch you soon.